Good evening, everyone. It is Monday, December 4th. This is the Westwood Town Selectmen. We will start the meeting as we always do with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will grant Westcat permission to both audio tape and videotape the meeting. Is there anybody else who wishes to tape the meeting? Okay, hearing none. We will start with the chairman's update. We are joined this evening by the Westwood Girls Cross Country State Champions. We're very excited to have you all. Congratulations. Our meetings are this exciting every month. Please come back. On Saturday, so let me just give a little recap. On November 11th, the Westwood Girls Cross Country team won the Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association's Division IV Eastern Massachusetts Championship. The team finished with 79 points, 29 points ahead of the runner-up, the next runner-up town. The Wolverines had some front-end power of their own to take our first divisional title in program history as senior Ashley Walker. Where is she? Where's Ashley? Congrats.
Hey, Ashley.
Took second, covering the 5K course in a time of 18:40, and junior Sarah Conant was fifth at 19:06. Where are you, Sarah? Good job. Junior Bridget Picard and senior Emma Hart followed one another across the line in 21st and 22nd place, respectively, to give the Wolverines four finishers in the meet. Senior Jamie Murphy was fifth across the line and 36th with a time of 20:59 to complete the scoring. Where are you, Jamie? Good job. So congratulations. You are a point of pride for us as a town, and you will always remember that win for as long as you think of Westwood. So where's the coach?
Jen.
All right. There's three of you. Okay, I only saw one raise their hand. Who else?
Meg Hughes.
Hey, Meg.
Behind me, and Christy Harrison to my left.
Congratulations, and thank you all for coming this evening.
This.
Yeah, no, it's a big deal for us. You know, Westwood is synonymous with academic excellence, and with academic excellence is extracurricular activities. So you all bring a lot of pride to us, and we appreciate it.
No, I know Jen, and my Marissa was on the team for 4 years, so I'm well familiar with them.
Privilege, yes.
Yes.
Well, I'm just hoping this is the beginning of a new dynasty in Westwood. So, girls, yes? You know, we've had the pleasure of congratulating several teams throughout the years, men and women's teams, and you guys to be getting your first state championship. That is awesome. And I know it's individual running scores, but it takes a team to be able to accomplish what you did and supporting each other. Love seeing you run around in the streets of Westwood. Jen, great job. You've really brought it to a much higher level in town, so congratulations to you and your fellow coaches. It's nice to see it all pay off, all that hard work. So enjoy it, and for the girls who are coming back next year, carry on. We want you back.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's a good point. Who's leaving this year? Who's graduating?
Ashley is?
Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay. So, Christine, are we presenting these still?
I can just give them to him.
Okay.
If you want to show.
Yeah, so we have, this is definitely not for me, but we have a nice t-shirt for each of you.
Oh, look at the back.
And
Show the back.
2017
Oh,
Girls Cross Country Championship. So congratulations. Thank you.
Are the names on the back of those or just on hers?
Yeah.
No, they're on
All
all of them. Yep, we kind of labeled them so you guys.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Please don't leave. We're going to talk,
Yeah, you
we're
can
gonna
stay.
talk tax collection. We'd love to have you.
Can we take a picture with you guys?
Sure.
Oh, a picture?
Okay.
Yeah.
Why don't you guys stand with me?
Okay, we'll
Why don't
push
we
the
get in
chairs
front of
out.
them?
We can push the chairs out of the way. What's better?
Or do you want to do over
We
here?
often do pictures over there.
Oh, the bookcase?
You want the bookcase?
Yeah, come this way. They can come in that way. So come in that way.
Hello. I'm good. How are you? Coaches. You guys can come up here too.
We're gonna do the whole kneel down.
Miss Tian, where are you, Miss
Grabbing
Tian?
one more athlete.
We hear that you're also Coach of the Year as voted by
Oh,
Boston
it's
Globe.
very embarrassing. Thanks, guys. Well, you guys are too low, no?
No.
You look so short.
It's awkward, right? Either we half down or half up.
This is really weird.
Everybody look at
This is champion. Okay, one more. We'll do it with the.
Well, thanks, Mom.
Congratulations.
She has 3 of us.
Oh, this for her. You wait all night for her.
A lot of big family power on this.
Supporting you guys, okay?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Give it to me.
Jen,
The team wanted to say thank you guys for recognizing them.
Oh.
We appreciate
Jen, this one's yours.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
Never done that before.
Like, thank you.
Yeah.
You were? Are you serious?
You guys are multifaceted.
Oh my god.
Oh, sorry, did I drop it down? I'm sorry.
We were given a picture. I was there. Manning the 4 strong.
Thank you for coming.
Autograph?
So what is that? Is that the scene? Is that the scene?
They wanted to thank us for the recognition.
It's the winning team. It's a 5 winners. Last year they were 4th.
Oh, wow. About to run it all now?
Chris, you might want to gently.
Al, join us.
Thank you so much.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
thank
Good
you.
job.
So, Mike, we're skipping the food pantry?
Yeah.
Do you guys want to show off?
Rent was too much?
Oh, right.
The rent was too much, Mike, so we're gonna skip the lease?
I want to do a half a
Or
dollar.
half a dollar.
No, that was great. So we are still on the chairman's report, and I did think it was important to mention the tree lighting last night and how great Town Hall looks and the rave reviews we got about the tree lighting. And I know the team here at Town Hall worked very hard. And we are all grateful for all that hard work. The place looks great. So thank you. Okay. Al, you have a good story to report here as well.
Good news.
It's all good news tonight.
Start off with the champions. That'll collect some money. Perfect.
Just want to talk about those ambulance receipts.
Microphone, please.
I'm sorry?
Could you use a microphone, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
How's that, better?
Perfect.
Is that, Nadia, can you hear him?
Well, you don't have the devices in this room.
No.
No.
Oh,
We will, we
And
do
then
it.
we will when we go across
Yeah.
the street.
Because there's no speakers.
these are not microphones that amplify. They pick it up for,
Two of
But
them.
they do, yeah, but they do on the recording. The-
yeah, that's not gonna help.
I know.
Sarah,
We talked about it.
finish second.
Nada, come and sit up here.
Yeah, because we don't wanna have you,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
You can hear him. He'll be right there.
Oh, it's funny, I didn't make a connection on the name.
That's okay.
There you
All
go.
right.
Okay, we're good.
So thank you
What's
for
the other
having
one?
us. Thank you for having me this evening. We have good news to report on the collector's side. So we can start by past several years of collection rates, and you'll see that there's a consistent track record of high collection rates in the town of Westwood in the tax collector's office. So if we look at 2017, for example, this is the collections when we as at the end of the calendar year through the end of June. So if we look at 2017, the net levy was $70,331,616. We collected $69,668,323. But before we liened outstanding individuals, we collected another $344,000. So we collected that money from July 1st through the end of October. So that's significant. I just wanted to mention that. And out of the 4,940 parcels that we have in town, this past year was a tough year. We ended up leaning 9 parcels. Of the 9 parcels, 3 of them were for the same individual. So the liens are relatively, usually it's somewhere between 3 to 7. So this year, and we start with a list of more than 100 people, and we follow it through. We send letters, we send certified letters, we call people, and then to get it down to, you know, a handful of people is pretty significant.
Do you know out of those, like you said, 3 were the same individual? Was that individual usually one of the other liens from the years past?
Yes. Can I sing into this?
Please not.
We're
We already cleared the room now.
I know. Mr. Walsh will do that. Okay. So these are collections compared to different towns: Barnstable, Canton, Hingham, Waltham, Wellesley, and ourselves. So these are town receivables. So motor vehicle, we collected 97% of the billing. Ambulance, 72 of net billing, which is pretty good. And the town accounts, $1 million in town accounts. That's represented by the police details, which represent $860,000, or 81% of that number. We also have fire details, trash barrel receipts, cemetery expenses, which includes the lots, perpetual care, and the grave openings, which is also listed in the town accounts.
Can we talk about the ambulance receipts for a minute?
Talk about what?
The ambulance receipts?
Yes, sir.
What's driving the 28% deficit?
So if we do a mutual aid, or we have an accident on 128, someone that's from Connecticut or Maine that gets into the accident, we transport the person, chances are pretty good they're not coming back to Westwood. So we get only a portion through the insurance, and the other portion is just written off because they're not going to come back. We send them the bill, and they just say, you know what, thanks for the ambulance ride, but we're not paying any more money.
So that's a pretty common.
Yes.
Phenomena.
Yes.
And why did I think there was a change to the statute surrounding ambulance collections? No?
It hasn't happened yet. It's
yeah,
up on the
they-
hill.
Oh, okay.
They're negotiating, they're still
I don't
in
think it
committee on it,
passed.
right? They're still in
Okay.
committee on it.
Okay. Thanks, Al.
Sure. So we have the 10 top taxpayers. This was as of June 30th of 2017. What's interesting is the number 3, which is the Meditech building, is assessed for 46, almost 47 million, and they pay 1.3 in taxes. If you look down to number 4, their assessment is almost double, but they pay just slightly less in taxes. That's due to the split tax rate. So the Meditech building is 100% commercial, where they pay the 28.20%. And the Westwood Gables 2 is the apartment building on University Ave. But due to the split tax rate between the 1457 for residential and the commercial, that's why, even though the value was much higher, the taxes are just a little under.
And the same holds for Fox Hill.
That's correct.
I think for me, you know, when I looked at this before the meeting, what's so amazing is how new so many of the highest payers are.
Yes. Yes.
That all of Nora's development work paid off. That's a lot of revenue for us.
So these this is the split tax rate I was just speaking about. Residential last year was 1457, and the commercial was 2820. And I know the assessors were in here to see you prior. So this is a good chart, one of my favorites. We collect 79 million, and our budget is including salaries and myself of 194,854. The biggest expense we have on the expense side is postage.
Wow.
So pretty efficient. I would say it's probably the most efficient office in Town Hall, but I just wanted to point that out.
Great return. What the The liens,
Yes.
do they worry you? Do you feel like?
Nope, the town's protected because we put the lien on the property, collecting 16% interest on that. It's 14%, but once it goes into tax title, it's 16.
Wow, okay.
So the town's interest is protected.
So nothing worries you in the long term? We're
No.
solid, okay.
No.
Good. Thanks a lot. Thanks for all you do.
So our office staff, 2 plus myself, with long-term staffing, ongoing attention to detail accuracy, continued automation, which is key for any department. And again, collections of 79 million and a budget of 194,000, very cost effective. The deputy collector, I just want to mention a couple things, who's doing a tremendous job. And we're actually able to collect outstanding excise tax bills at the office, and they'll accept cash or check. From the real estate bills that are paid online, I broke it down, which is pretty interesting. So you can pay by credit card, and they'll take MasterCard, Visa, or Discover, and there's a 3% fee on that. If you do ACH, there's no charge to that. And we don't get the fee. It's the company that we do business with that collects the fee. But on the 4,940 parcels, 50% or 2,470 are escrowed by banks or mortgage companies. So they send us the file and we upload that, which is very, very cost effective. About 800 people pay in person, whether it's cash or check. We have a lot of elderly people in town that feel really comfortable cashing their Social Security checks and paying their real estate tax bill, and they want a receipt, but that's fine. We'll take the money. And then about 1,900 pay online, which represents 32%. So if we could get that number up a little bit, that would be great. But all in all, so that's the breakdown of how people pay. 50% are from banks and mortgage companies, 17 in person, and 32% pay online.
Are you seeing the online going up? Because I don't remember past years if
So
you've highlighted that for
We
us.
usually see it go up on the due date. So
But
people
year to
wait.
year, I'm wondering by comparison,
It's
are
gone
we
up.
seeing some growth in that?
Yes, not significantly, but a little bit,
Gradual?
yeah. Because there's still some people, that want to write the check or come and pay in
Oh,
person.
sure.
And they're not used to the automation, and
Maybe a lot of those people where it's going through the mortgage company
That's correct.
would do it that way.
so,
but-
so that has increased. The banks and the mortgage company payments has increased
Yep.
because they're escrowing more and more.
But it's not like you anticipate any significant change in the online payment. It's just going to be what.
I'd love to see that, because the money goes right into our account.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but it is what it is. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Any questions?
No, it's a great
Keep up
report.
the great work. It's nice to hear.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Al. Have a good holiday.
You too.
Love the tie.
I only wear it for 30 days. So
You have to maximize it.
Thank you.
Enjoy
Yeah.
those days.
Okay, so next up, the appointments to the Conservation Commission. We have Diane Hayes, who's a regular member, seeking to move to associate membership, and Stephen David, who is currently an associate member, and moving him to regular membership. I don't know if the board has any questions,
No, I think
concerns,
that's
or a
fine.
motion is in order.
It's nice to have it so
Clean?
clean.
Yeah, especially for the Conservation Commission.
Exactly.
Having
I'm-
people we can appoint.
Right, people who are there, that's the benefit of the associate membership. So I move that we change Diane Hayes' status on the Conservation Commission from full membership status to associate membership status for a term that will expire on June 30th, 2020. And that we move Stephen David's membership status from associate membership to regular membership with a term expiring on June 30th, 2019.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none. Thank you. So this evening, we're going to open the annual town meeting warrant. Our annual town meeting is scheduled for Monday, May 7th, 2018. Annually, the Board of Selectmen opens the town meeting warrant through the final month of the calendar year for any and all articles that may be proposed for consideration at the annual town meeting in addition to the standard business articles. The Board of Selectmen must accept any petition articles that are submitted with 10 or more signatures of registered voters. Petitioners are encouraged to present and review a draft of their petition language with the Finance and Warrant Commission, Selectmen, and/or Town Council before obtaining signatures to ensure that the petition can be acted upon by town meeting. Traditionally, the Board of Selectmen accepts all articles submitted by a majority vote of any committee, commission, or board.
And when do we expect to close the warrant?
January 8th, the first meeting in
January 8th.
January.
Okay.
Okay,
So the
so the
only
board will close the warrant on January 8th, 2017. I would encourage,
Weather permitting, of course.
weather permitting.
18.
Oh, is it January 18th?
No,
That was the
January 8th.
18th.
Oh, I'm sorry. We'll
Yeah.
close the warrant on January 8th, 2018. It's gonna take me some getting used to. I think I just stopped saying 2016.
We asked people to turn them in by the 5th, so you can
Okay.
include it in the packet.
Okay. So anybody looking to submit a warrant article, we would ask that you submit it by January 5th, 2018, and the warrant will officially close at our meeting on January 8th, 2018. Anything else that I'm missing?
I move that we approve opening the town meeting warrant for the 2018 annual town meeting, and with plans to close the warrant at our first meeting in January.
I'll second.
Any commentary, questions, anything? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none. Okay. Revisions to the remote participation policy. Can we push this off one more time?
I'm here this
That's
time.
you.
And we're glad.
We have no excuse, I
And
know.
we're glad.
You know what, I had some questions and now I can't remember if I do or don't.
Well, there was some lack of clarity about what was being done at the state level versus how we were carrying that out at
Right.
the local level. So maybe, could we start there?
Well, I can.
Yeah, what was the genesis of
There
this? Yeah.
is a genesis. When they first came out with this policy, they basically had it pretty narrowly defined. So what they wanted to do was make sure that somebody didn't just go away on vacation or decide to take the night off.
Right.
That there was actual reason. So they're traveling in business, or they were ill at home or in the hospital, unable to participate in person, but able to make, come on a phone line and participate in the meeting that way. So it was narrowly defined. What they've just recently done is to say, look, if a person's not able to attend for whatever the reason, they're on vacation, and they want to call in and participate in the meeting, why not? And so basically that's what the change is. It's loosening of the criteria that was required. So the chairman in the past would have to say, why are you away? And a person says, I'm on vacation. Sorry, that doesn't qualify. I'm away on a business trip. Oh, that qualifies. I will grant my permission. So now you can call into the chairman with any reason, and the chairman can declare that you're. Now, if the chairman were to decide that you were abusing it or not,
Right.
In addition to that, for the what is it called?
Commission on Disability.
Commission on Disability. I knew it wasn't a handicap commission. Commission on Disability. Many of the members might not have the ability to come for physical reasons. In that instance, they allow even a majority of the membership. Now, on your board, one of you could be away, but two of you can't be away. Two have to be here. A majority has to be present, and the chairman has to be present. On the Disability Commission, a majority can call in, so long as there's a person in the room, namely the chairman of the meeting, to handle the meeting at the location. So that's the one instance where they relaxed the majority rule.
Yeah,
so
so
we've made our bylaw, our policy consistent with what the state policy is now.
Right. So the Commission on Disability piece, I think, makes perfect sense, and I have no issue with it. I guess are we comfortable with relaxing it for all the other boards and bodies? I don't know that I am.
Well, that's up to you guys. That's what you would be doing. You'd be going from having it strict that there's got to be some legitimate reason, so-called, to any reason at all that a person will.
So my fear is that I think a lot of people are on appointed boards and everything else, and attendance may not be great. And what we're saying now is, you don't have great attendance, but your vote is needed, so we can just dial you in. That's my fear, I guess, is that we lose some engagement. On the Commission on Disability piece, I have no problem, and I'm just wondering if we could adopt the standard for the Commission on Disability and defer on the bigger question.
You could. The other thing I would say to you is that in the, I don't know how many years now that it's been, something like 4 years or so.
Yeah.
That's what I was curious.
Yeah.
13, 12 or
We probably, this has been enacted probably 2 or 3 times. It's not a big deal. In fact, most of the time was the first year a couple of different commissions tried it, but it hasn't been.
So let me give you an example where I think it would be helpful, and then a question. So FinCom will be the question. Where I think it would be helpful, we may all recall that we had an issue with Westwood Day, and a commission didn't have a majority people present, and it deferred them making a decision, and it became kind of late when they finally made a decision. That might have been an instance where it would have been nice where people could have called in because they needed to take an official position. At least that was the way they were operating, and there might be a case where it would have helped them to have more flexibility. Now, to the Finance Commission, I believe they have in bylaw, not in charter, the need to attend consistently. And so they have another stopgap measure for attendance, participation, that if there, at least it used to be in place when I was on it a long time ago.
There is
If
as
you
I
miss
remember,
more than a
certain
certain
number.
sequence of number
Right.
of meetings, it could be cause
You
for
could-
being removed.
you could
Because
be-
you're not being very helpful
Right.
if you're on that, and the meeting attendance is very important for voting on warrant articles, so it gave room. It's not like the bell goes off and says, oh, now you're off. It gives some ability for the moderator who appoints them to take action if the moderator thinks it's necessary. So, I don't know, I just put that out there as
Yeah,
a
I
couple of
don't-
instances where,
I don't have any problem with any of it, because if it's encouraging people to participate, then that's what we want. And if they can't be there for some reason and they need to participate, it's much better to at least have them by phone to hear it. We depend on our chair and the members that are there to, allow this or not allow this based on what they think, but I think we're giving them tools to have more involvement.
can we do it and provide guidance to the chairs that say,
That's what I think what
we
worries me
don't
is
want it to be,
we're kind of taking away any standard.
So in the past, the chair, just traditionally, even without guidance, a lot of the chairs reach out to the selectman's office or the town clerk's office and say, I have so-and-so, and they've reached
Not
out to me,
participate.
and they want to remote participate. What do I do? And, is this okay? And under that, is it an illness? Is it a military leave? Is it that, so we had those guidelines that said yes. But I think we've denied others for personal travel that wasn't covered under the 4 standards, even though they wanted to participate.
they still
So
wanted to stay
They
connected.
still wanted to stay involved. So the chairs, I think it's the chairs that need and the admins that need to report back and look for the guidance. So there's still a little bit of check and balance. It's not just signed off by the chair and then that's it and no one else knows about it. We still have them coming back to the selectman's office and the town clerk's office. So we file it and she files it.
And I guess in giving guidance, I mean, I would like some level of foreseeability. I don't think if I have planned a trip to Europe next summer, that I should then say, let's meet.
Right.
And what I really fear, because we're in a period in town government where we have split votes, and I fear a critical vote and someone who has not been all that engaged or participatory is simply on the phone casting that critical vote. And I just want to make sure we're all going to say we did the right thing.
Nora, how does this impact planning board, where there's a special permit requirement for participation?
If we don't have the votes, if we don't have the people physically in the room or qualified to vote over the phone under the old reasons, medical leave or business travel. If we don't have that, we could be short and we can't take a vote. Or if the timeline is approaching the end, then they have to vote to deny. So it's a serious concern in a special permit where you need 4 votes to grant a permit.
So this would be helpful, or
This
this
would be
is?
helpful because this would allow the board to vote without losing any time. And in an instance where we're up against a time frame, it would allow them to vote before losing the ability to do so. I can also point out that if a member misses more than 1 hearing session, a special hearing, they're not able to vote either way.
That's what I was,
Removed from it.
yeah.
So if you have
Unless, no, they can look at the tape of the meeting.
one
meeting.
session, if they miss a
That was
second
flexibility that was
session, then
provided.
they're no longer able to vote. And if we get below 4 of the 5 members, then the special permit has to be denied, no matter how valid the application is.
And so I guess, Nora, when we have a packed room at Carvey Street for an applicant for a special permit, and we have 50 residents in the room voicing opposition, and the critical vote is cast via telephone.
Well, it is, but the person who's on the other end of the phone is participating. They're not simply voting. They're asked to comment, just as all the members sitting there, and they're asked to explain their positions. So I don't see it being all that different, and I think we also would attempt to Skype whenever possible, rather than just do a phone vote.
I was just gonna say, we have the capability of Skyping now, which allows a person to, like, literally be in the room and see facial expressions as well as people being able to see theirs.
I think the most recent time the planning board used it was for Bruce Montgomery when he was
Ill.
ill
Right.
and he couldn't attend. And he participated by phone in that case because he didn't have Skyping capabilities, but he fully participated. He did not just come in at the end to cast
Right,
his vote.
no, and okay. And if we find that it's abused or it's having a negative
We
effect,
could revisit it.
we can revisit it.
One of the things you can do is take a vote that will be reviewed a year from now.
Okay.
So you make sure that on the agenda next year, just prior to the end of the year, you review it again to see if you wanna continue it.
So the motion that we have here, does this cover, it just says amended remote participation policy, does this cover the disability commission?
Yep.
The state law change, all in that motion?
All in that motion.
That's all
So I
we
would just
need.
ask that we add that subject to
Yes.
review.
Excuse me, I'm about ready to sneeze. I move that we approve the amended remote participation policy, and ask that it be, that we be provided with an annual update on how the policy is going, use of the policy is going, and we ask that the new policy be properly distributed to all boards and committee members.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none. Okay.
That's good discussion.
Mike, do you wanna just take us through the goals? How do you wanna?
Well, I just, these are provided for you, as an update, that we're approaching the midterm of the year. I wanted to make sure that all the department heads were reviewing these, updating them, making sure that they remembered what goals they were supposed to be striving for, reported on what it was that they had accomplished thus far. Is a way of reinvigorating and revisiting the goals. I think there are too many to go through here individually.
I have a couple questions.
But my hope is that you have a couple questions,
I do.
that you've taken a look at these and
I
see
have.
something that you want more information on.
So when I look at 11/2/17, a letter was sent to all elected and appointed officials.
Which page are
titled-
we on?
The first
Page
page?
1.
First page, okay.
I searched my emails. I don't remember getting this email. Or a letter. Did you mail it to people's homes?
Yeah, there was a letter that was sent by,
Email?
Email.
Email by
it was
Joan.
emailed by Joan.
Email.
I think it was a letter, I think it was an attachment to the email that was sent to all elected and appointed officials, discussing the fact that, we want everybody to be treated as they would like to be treated themselves, I think is the general.
He's saying he never got it.
I never got
Never
that.
got it.
but
Okay, I can make sure
forward
you
Joan.
get it.
Yeah. The next question for me was page 4. So when we had the discussion about strong chief, weak chief, one of the pieces that we talked about was the appointment of public safety officers. And I thought during that discussion, it was my understanding that the board would have even a cursory review of appointees. And I could be wrong, but in my brain, I thought that before police and fire officials were appointed, that the board had an idea of who they were.
No, you'll get to see them after. We're holding up right now. The police officers have been recently appointed and brought onto staff. We want to do it over at the new
station.
the police station
Okay.
when that opens up. So we've scheduled it for every single meeting and put it off for the next one. And by that, we've added a couple new officers, so you'll be introduced. There's a batch of firefighters also that are coming up to be trained. We'll be bringing those forward at or within very close proximity. But you will now be introduced to the officers. Now, you always introduced to the police officers, but it was not so often that you'd be introduced to the
Right.
firefighters. We're gonna bring them all in.
Okay.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
But I think when we meet them, could we get there was 80 candidates, we vetted it down to 12 by this process?
Yeah, we can give you a summary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a very vigorous process, I will tell you. And you're right about the 80. That's about right for the.
I thought that was the number I heard, and
Yeah, it was significant.
So I did read the whole thing, and I know it's in here, and I just can't find it now. We had a good meeting, a good discussion last month, about the traffic study. I'm sorry, so it's the bottom of page 16. No, that's Islington. We did have a discussion about 109. I know I saw it.
It's probably under DPW.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
You see it?
Public Works, let's see.
Page 12, study alternatives for current traffic flow on 109.
Thank you.
At the top.
Oh, okay.
Utilizing smart technology.
Right, so Mike, what we agreed to last meeting was we're gonna revisit this in January, and Todd and the consultants from Beta are gonna do some changing of the times. So if we discussed it at last month, and then this update is this month, we should include it.
Okay.
It's a good update.
Now, let me give you some clarification. We may not be changing. What I'm going to do in January is bring forward Beta, and we're going to have a discussion of what changes we've made, because that timing issue out on High Street has been one we've gone back and forth on. So we've visited it several times and made some tweaking to try and
Right, they haven't amended them in 9 years.
What?
They haven't amended the timing in 9 years.
Where'd you hear that?
From your safety consultant last month.
From-
He clearly said it was 2009 was the last time we worked on this.
Who said that?
Beta.
Ken Ho.
Ken Ho.
Oh.
We could run the tape if we need to.
All
But
right,
like,
all right.
and
So
we-
let
and
me
we
review
also-
that with them,
I had a
because
commitment.
I think it's been since then, but if you're right, then I'll have a conversation with them.
Well, aside from that, I mean, they made a commitment that they're going to add at least
Okay.
10 seconds before our meeting in January. So is that not happening now?
No, I will review it with them, and if they haven't made a change since 2009, and they said at the last meeting they'll make a 10-second adjustment, we'll make the 10-second adjustment. Okay, I thought, and I still think, so at the review, I thought we had made changes more recently than that. If not, however,
I mean, Nora, am I
We'll-
mistaken?
we'll
I
try it.
think what Ken was explaining was that they haven't studied end to end in that period of time, but they have made tweaks on the signals. I know the signal in front of the library has been changed probably twice within the last 3 years, so they've altered that.
I was pretty sure that they
Yeah, I
had made
can't
changes.
remember myself because I know changes were made, but now time is becoming hard to know
And I
when.
don't think they've gone back then and done a study to see how long it takes for us to move through there. I don't think there's been a comprehensive study, but I do think that Todd has tweaked the signals. He's opened the boxes and made changes in the signals.
But
What we talked about last time, Mike, a lot was with 109 and at Summer Street, some cut-through traffic uses the back roads to come right back up to the same intersection they would have been going on had they stayed on 109.
Right.
And the discussion was how to adjust that time sequencing to maybe discourage that behavior a little bit to free up some of the cut-through traffic if possible. But I know what I was adding to the conversation was we have to be careful because we don't want to create havoc. So doing it in small increments, 10 seconds is pretty small increment, but I think that's, I think for Todd and for Ken, they've got to step back and say, how can they test adjustments and maybe get some benefit without throwing the whole thing into chaos.
Right. And I'm sure, and I know that Todd presented this at the last meeting, but I'll make sure that you understand it. The effort is, one of the things that happens is these lights will go out of sequence. So you'll have, a green light to bring people to a red light, to bring people to a green light, and so by that fluctuation, it makes it inefficient for running here. What they have is a synchronized system whereby you can set up the sequencing so that they all turn green at the same time. You blow everything through, turn everything red at the same time, so you outside seats that feed in, then turn it green again, then turn it red again, and then it constantly is communicating
And
with each
resetting.
other. So that's what,
Yeah.
to us,
Yeah.
that will allow for the most efficient running of these lights out here. And we think that will have significant improvements in the efficiency. Another thing is it costs $100,000.
But we may have that on town meeting
And-
warrant, right?
We may have it on town meeting warrant, and we've been lobbying the state with Beta. In fact, 2 weeks ago, I think it was, Todd went in with Beta to meet with the with Mass Highway, and they're favorably disposed to looking at, because they look to reduce traffic.
Right, so what we talked about last month, which I still stand by, is that's a long-term plan, and we need a long-term plan. But we have data that we received at the meeting before last, showing that although the speeds have gone down in the High Rock, Conant neighborhood, the volume has doubled. So we can't,
Volume didn't double, but it went up. It went up.
we can look at the data. It was pretty
Well, I
significant.
looked at the data this week,
Tom.
and it
Tom,
didn't go up.
can you open that door? It's getting to be about 80 degrees in here.
It did go up, and it did
It was-
go up.
it did go up.
It did go up, and it did go up appreciably. In fact, I was surprised when I re-looked at the data after it got brought to my attention, actually how much it did go up. Because I said, geez, I don't remember seeing that the first time. And then when I looked at it, I go, ooh, that is a pretty
But
significant.
one of the things we learned through installing the traffic calming through the neighborhood was we had less control over volume than we did over speed. And that the measures were to control speed. And if, by the way, people found that inconvenience and it took away volume, that was a good byproduct, but we really needed to create safety and slow the speeds down.
And we did, and we still showed slow
Yep.
speeds. So I think that the one thing the traffic count did the last time, well, the most recent one was indicated that the speeds have not appreciably increased at all, and they've gone down a
But
little
part of the
bit,
reason
but-
they've gone down is you have a consistent flow of cars driving down a
yeah.
side street, so they can't go fast.
Yeah, I understand.
So
Yeah,
it's,
they can.
it's some
Yes, they
traffic
can.
calming.
No, they
It's-
can.
well-
Because for me, I used to commute through Needham into Newton, and to go on 109 would have added 10 minutes on what was already a problematic commute. And so regularly I was, not with the volume was not slowing it down. It was the speed humps and at Dover and Conant, where the island is,
Right.
that was
Making people
significantly
turn, yeah.
helping both safety and speed.
But either way, I think that the data shows that there's a necessity to do something.
No,
And Ken, and I'm not going to speak for Todd, I think agreed with me, we can't make it worse. Right? Adding time to these signals can't make it worse. It's at failure mode. So if you free up some of the time at summer and you allow more cars to start getting through Hartford, we might create something and incentivize more people not to go through our neighborhoods. And that was kind of where we left it at the end of
Okay.
this meeting.
So I'll revisit it tomorrow with Todd. I'll revisit it with Ken Ho, and we'll make adjustments.
I didn't have any. I'm sorry. Did you have something?
Yeah, Mike, so in some towns they have that, you can't block the intersection, you get a ticket,
Yes.
And I know that on High Street, that's where probably the biggest problem is, especially for some of these side streets. So is that up to us to address, to, allow the DPW to like mark off a certain area at the intersection to not block during a red light?
I think it is. I think that that's one of the things that you would cover in your traffic rules and regulations. So let me talk to Paul Sicard.
Okay.
And have him research that. And if in fact, and I think that's effective. You got a sign right there.
Yeah,
that
and then
you can be fined 175 for
We
waiting in
need
the
the
middle
hash
here.
marks on the road.
well, the key is enforcement too, right? Is that if there's a cop out there once in a while, even just especially in the warm weather, sitting in a little lounge chair, just waiting for people to stop, that eventually it
Well,
will
the
get
other
through.
intersection where that's needed, and we spoke about it with
Washington and Brookfield.
Washington Street, yes, right
And what?
when you leave Roach Brothers.
Brookfield Road.
And
I go
there
out
is a do
there.
not block intersection
There's
sign
footprints
way up
there.
at the light, but
It's not
when
helpful.
you're driving,
Right.
you're not looking way up at the light
Right.
There are
to see
signs
that.
on these intersections here on High Street too, it doesn't.
Yeah,
do
I
Yeah,
think
so I think if we marked it on the
hash
road, if we hash marked it on the road, people would know.
But it is something to look into and to determine, but I mean, that's an inexpensive,
Fix.
Yeah. In my travels, I saw, I think it was in Florida,
Yeah.
$175 fine
Right.
if you wait in the intersection.
Yep.
That got my attention.
but you have to enforce it every so
Yeah.
often, as Mike's saying.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it every day, but
Yeah.
the random is what makes it more effective.
Right.
And then just one last question. The Habitat for Humanity house, where, are
We're
we- is that,
still in,
We're
Litigation.
still in
litigation.
litigation.
and what do you think for timing?
Oh, another year and a half maybe.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it takes a while.
That's an optimistic plan, Tom.
Well,
Come on now.
It's been cooking for a while. Another year and a half at a minimum.
Oh, that's too bad.
Unfortunately.
That is too bad. Thanks. That's all I had.
I don't have anything. I
Yeah,
would go.
I think this is great to have the update.
Yeah.
On that.
Thank you, Mike, for having people put the update
No problem.
through.
So, do we want to move on to future Board of Selectmen meetings?
Do we have those scheduled?
Okay, so we,
Blank page in between.
the board will have its last meeting for 2017 on December 18th. We anticipate that it will be in the new police station.
We've been saying that since.
A few months.
Jeff seems to think
October.
that would be,
I think we're getting really close.
Yeah, there's there's a few technical issues. Like
Yeah.
we won't be able to go live because there's certain servers that aren't there yet. But Westwood Media Center they'll still tape it. It'll still be taped. It's just minor tweaks like that. The desks that are in there right now are not the final desks. They're sort of temporary at the moment. They weren't the right desks in order. We'll tweak some stuff, but it's up to the board.
No, we
It's open.
should aim for it, yeah.
Yeah. If there's anything
If we have to
major
change
that's
it, we'll change
preventing
it,
it, I'll
right.
let you know. But right now, you can comfortably go in there.
Mike, when is the old building scheduled to be torn down?
I think it's imminent. There were a couple of servers, communication servers that needed to be
I'm
disconnected.
still waiting for that.
It's just the
line.
tower, right?
I think
tower.
yes,
Power line.
and no, the tower's ready to go down.
Okay.
So that's all set, but they're still waiting for Verizon.
That that
Instead
EV.
of Verizon, we're doing that
The T1
radio
line,
wave,
yeah.
microwave.
I think that's scheduled for June 9th. Or is that earlier?
No, the microwave they thought would take 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Last I heard, they were expecting to take the building down the first week in January.
Wow.
Assuming the microwave installation is on target.
hope
But
we
they
do
have to
better
put-
than
They
the
have to put receivers on
in Detroit.
the water
Yeah.
tank
Yeah.
and 690 Canton Street, I believe. And if they get that work done, as well as some work at the new station, then they'll be ready to take it down.
Wow, okay. So we're scheduled to meet on December 18th and then again January 8th.
January 8th.
And then the meeting with FinCom is two Mondays later on the 22nd. Do we need to meet between the 8th and the 22nd to review the final articles?
Not really.
No? Okay, because the weekend before is...
We usually meet before the FinCom,
Oh, okay.
right? At 6:30.
Okay.
Basically, what what happens on the 22nd is what you did on the 8th,
Right.
not on that. So,
Oh, okay.
so all you're presenting is the articles that you're submitting
Coming attractions.
to coming
Okay,
attractions. Yeah.
okay.
They may have a little bit more work on them, but that's it. You have a scheduled meeting for the 29th, February 12th, and February 26th so
Okay.
far.
On the 29th is the community chest.
Oh, okay. So,
So,
we'll skip
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And then what's the first Monday in February?
February 5th.
5th.
The 5th. We should do that.
The 5th and the 12th back to back.
Because the following is school vacation.
Right.
Does 5th and the 12th work for you?
Do we really need back-to-back?
Do we need to go, Christine, to the 30th instead of the Tuesday instead of the Monday? Was that too long between the 8th and then?
The only thing
Well-
I'm thinking is budget. You're gonna have to approve the budget before February 1st.
Could we do it on the 22nd? The 6:30 to 7:30 or whatever it is, that first hour?
Yeah, unless you feel comfortable.
No, we should do the 29th.
The budget,
Or
doesn't
the
the budget
30th.
get printed?
29th is the community.
Oh,
Chest.
right. You just said that.
That's the Monday. So if we do we can do the Tuesday or the Wednesday that
Okay,
week.
the 30th?
Yeah, I'm okay with the 30th.
You're right, Christine.
Yeah, the budget gets printed on the
February
1st. But Pam likes to present, so she's gonna present on December 18th, and then she usually does 2 presentations to you in January.
Yeah.
So you should have at least 2 meetings in January.
So it'll be the 30th.
30th, okay,
30th or
Nancy?
the 22nd for now.
Let's do the 30th.
All right.
So then we'd go out to February.
Then we can skip the 5th
You
and
had
go to
the
the 12th.
12th.
We got the 12th
Is the
already.
12th school vacation? Is that?
No.
is it a-
The
The
next-
No,
19th.
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 19th is vacation.
So the 30th and then
12th.
2/12.
Yeah.
And then you have the 26th,
Yeah, 2/26. Yeah.
and that's it. That's all you got scheduled.
So we need to meet before the FinCom.
Right.
On the 26th of March, I have a conflict.
Okay, that's fine.
So, an hour before the FinCom on the 5th?
Yes, both.
On 3/5. Okay.
So we need a regular meeting in there.
Do we need one then on the 19th?
12th or the 19th.
That'd be fine.
3/19.
19th?
Yep.
Okay.
I want to tentatively hold a 6:30
For the
for
26th.
the 26th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I won't be there, but that's, just so you know, Christine. And then April, the 16th is vacation week. So the 2nd, 9th,
Yeah, let's do the 9th. 4/9.
and then we can do the 30th, will be the week before town meeting, right? Town meeting's late this year.
We should probably do the 23rd.
Do 23rd.
If you did the 23rd, then that leaves, that's
2
right
weeks.
before election, the night before election,
Oh.
and it's enough time between then and town meeting.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So 4/23,
And not the 30th, okay.
and then town meeting will be the 7th.
And you usually meet.
Usually meet
before
before
an hour
that,
before
right,
town meeting.
Right.
And then the chairman usually picks the next Monday to give up the gavel.
Okay. I feel like you're rushing that, Mike.
No, I got it. It was a joke.
So did you wanna pick either the 14th or the 21st? Usually I think it's the 21st, it's usually
You don't have to
2 weeks
you don't
after
have to
town
pick
meeting.
it now. You can get closer.
Yeah, as we get
In like
closer.
April time,
Yeah.
we'll bring it back.
fine.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent.
You'll send us the list.
Are we gonna do minutes?
We'll send you the list.
Just because I'm not putting them, it takes me too long to put on my phone now.
That's okay. I'll send the list.
So we're gonna do minutes. Looking at the August 14th, 2017.
I move approval.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye. Number 11th.
September 11th, 2017.
I move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
September 25th.
when did the RFPs get submitted on Obed Baker?
January 3rd.
We discussed that night, right? On the night we talked about it back in, when we were agreeing to do it? So January 3rd, can we add that to page 5 of 9 of the September 25th minutes?
RFPs due
Yeah.
January 3rd.
Actually, you know what,
Actually,
at the
no.
September meeting, we didn't discuss
No.
that because
Right.
they were due at an earlier date.
That's right.
Isn't it November?
Had to move
Had
it
to
up.
re-advertise, one bid came in late, so we only had one qualified bid. Rather than open that one bid, we decided to re-advertise so that we could have competitive bids.
The second bid only came in 5 minutes late,
5
but
minutes late,
the
but
technicality is it was 5 minutes late, and we couldn't.
But did we ever know that? I don't remember discussing that at a meeting.
No,
I don't think we
I
did,
think it was
no.
the decision I made as the chief procurement officer to kick the bids out and get 2 bids rather
Okay,
than
but
one.
at this meeting, the
At that
deadline
meeting,
was,
we discussed the prior
The
deadline.
prior deadline.
Right.
and I think
Sunday
that should be in the
October.
minutes.
Okay, so let me find you what that date was.
And then our minutes of today's meeting can reflect the fact that we discussed the change
The change
in the
in
RFP date, that it was approved by the chief.
The original proposals were due on November 6th.
So,
So those can go in the 25th minutes.
Correct.
yeah, I'm just trying to see where it'd be a good place
Page
to
5.
put it. So at the end of the second paragraph, the minimum bid price, the town hopes to see a competitive bid process. Bids are due
Now, that was November 6th.
November 6, 2017, 5 p.m.? What was the
No,
final
it was
slip?
11.
11
a.m.
11 a.m.
That's right.
So I move we approve the minutes as amended.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then October 2nd, 2017.
We actually had a minor
Change.
edit, if you guys are fine with that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I move approval as amended.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, at this time, the Board of Selectmen will be going into executive session to discuss 2 issues. One issue is related to the acquisition, transfer of real property, and one issue is related to collective bargaining, both of which would have a detrimental effect on the position of the governing body if discussions were in open session. The board will not be returning to open session. Our next meeting will be on Monday, December 18th at 7:30 p.m. in the meeting room at the new police station. We hope you will join us.
Okay, I move approval for going into executive session for the aforementioned reasons.
Second?
Mr. Walsh?
Aye.
Mrs. Hyde?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Motion to adjourn?
I
No.
took it.
Okay. Thank you. Night.
You wanted-